youths across Africa are stepping out of the box to provide laudable solutions to respond to economic problems faced by the African continent in the form of a business idea. However, it costs money to fund any business, which represents a real challenge for many young Africans. You listening to this video, you surely have ideas, you surely have identified solutions to solve many problems on the African continent. You are surely asking yourself, where am I going to get the fund? Where am I going to get my capital? Today, we are going to talk about finance and perseverance, which is a winning key for your destiny. Welcome on Career Show. My name is Carl Kenye. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe to our page in order not to miss any session. We are going to receive a great woman, a source of inspiration for many young Africans. Today, we are receiving Madame Dr. Remi Duyile, who is the former vice president of the Bank of America, a certified corporate trainer, a Forbes coach, and the founder of Legacy Premier Foundation. Hello, Madame, and welcome on Career Show.
Good evening. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for all the great work that you do for the continent and for the world at large. Congratulations on your great work.
Thank you so much, Madame. So, Madame, you can present yourself in your own way. If I may ask, who is Madame Dr. Remi Duyile?
Thank you so much. Remi Duyile is a young African, someone who came at a very young age to the United States of America in quest of education, a serial entrepreneur, someone who rose from teller to vice president, a mother, a wife, a career professional, and a developmental coach, someone who have made value addition to lives a life purpose, and author of a book called Perseverance, the Winning Key to Your Destiny, and a servant leader who believes in the power of our youth and the ability to support them and learn from them so that we can create a succession leadership with all of our youth wherever they are in the world.
Wow, exactly, Madame. You talk about perseverance, but you left from teller to vice president of the Bank of America. Can you share with us what you learned from that experience?
Sure. It was a very, the journey wasn't so short. It was a very humbling experience with an MBA. I graduated with an MBA, and the thought was to go back to my country, my home country, in this case is Nigeria, but still here ever after. So what happened in that journey is I knew I was going to get my foot into the door because I have an MBA. You don't need an MBA to be a teller or a cashier, but I needed to get my foot into the door. So humbly, I got my foot into the door and I started to work my system and apply that servant leadership approach of finding ways to cross-train and allow and enable myself to learn and help other colleagues within my corporation, knowing that my eyes were on being a vice president. The journey was not easy. I had to overcome being 4 strikes: Black, female, Nigerian, accent. Those were the strikes I had to overcome. And those strikes are part of my life. I embrace those strikes as a value proposition of me to the world, because being female is a pride. Being Nigerian is a pride for me. Accent, I still have it till today. And then, of course, being female, it's nothing to worry about. So I went through such experience, and I know that it wasn't easy then, and it's still, things like that still happens now. Your strikes might not be like mine, but every single person that has a purposeful life, there's got to be an impediment. There's got to be somebody out there who is trying to limit you. But you have to embrace who you are. So I had to embrace who I am, knowing that, yes, I have accent, yes, I'm Black, yes, I'm Nigerian, yes. So embracing and finding my own identity and now figuring, what do I do with my identity? Now the accent is there. Do I need to slow down so people can hear me? And in most cases, people do those to intimidate you. But once you don't take it personal and you focus on your long journey of where your destination is, then everything falls in place because you show people results. You show people how you can add value to their lives. Even when they're busy figuring how to pull you down, guess what? They will be wasting their time as you continue to climb up. And that was how I did. With all those strikes, I constantly look for ways to serve, to add value, to learn and cross-train. And before you know it, people saw me beyond all those strikes. They started seeing the value that I bring, the ability to sell, the ability to build teams, the ability to be a community leader. All of those things became more prominent once they saw that the distractions were not going to stop me, that I was becoming unstoppable because I was doing my work and I was adding value. So I'm saying to everyone that would listen to this, especially our young leaders, your strikes will not be the same as mine. So being a talented vice president was a journey. Until today is the journey that helps me to want to do more and be more. It helps me to propel and tell other young leaders, especially, that no one can stop you but you. Once you find who you are and you embrace your authentic self and you work at it, that work never ends. Every day is a new learning. Every day is an opportunity to learn, opportunity to earn, opportunity to return and be a value addition to lives. When you constantly do that, your brand will be born because we are all a brand. Everything you do, people are watching it. We are always on the World Wide Web. Whatever you do, it might be one person that will be impacted. The impact could be positive, it could be negative. So my journey from teller to vice president was all of those. It was the ability to know that, yes, I have to embrace my authentic self and show people my value, despite sometimes their mean nature of expressing themselves, not taking it personal, knowing that where I was on my way there. So for everyone that's hearing, things like this will happen when you are working for good, when you are meant to be a value and to be a virtue. There's got to be distractions and distractors. Like my daughters will call them the haters. There will always be haters out there who would want to distract you and disrupt you. And sometimes it's because they have not found themselves yet. Not because they don't like you, they haven't found themselves. So how can they like you when they haven't even found themselves? They don't even like themselves because they're trying to struggle to find themselves. So they will always feel intimidated by what you do. So, but once you take it as an educational opportunity for you to help others and serve with humility, they will see you as their friend. They will see you that they can't stop you. So they're going to join you. So that was my story of my 17-year journey being in corporate America, from retail banking to business banking to premier banking to mortgage banking, till exiting and starting my own mortgage company and being a serial entrepreneur. All of the experiences I was gathering and learning helped me to be who I am today. Because I tell people, if people know what I've been through in corporate America and I was able to still excel, there's nothing I truly believe that I cannot do. Because that was even when you're growing, you have to deal with so many distractions and political office politics. But if you can overcome that, it makes you have a solid structure that you can use for your own journey in life. And when you are serving people, serve well with all your heart, because you only have that stage to show your experience. So when you have a job, take it like it's yours. I wanted the buck to stop at my desk. I looked at myself as that bank. I didn't want anything to be escalated until I have exhausted my possibilities and what I could do. So when you have such, you're building yourself for your future. So for those who are listening to us, nobody promises that there will be an easy life, but there's one promise that if we accept ourselves and believe in ourselves, the hard work that we have to put in will not be as hard. It will be fun, sometimes bitter, but it will be bittersweet because you'll be moving forward closer to that destination of being a blessing. and to that destination of dying empty, sharing what you have, your gift, your talent, and treasure to be a benefit to others, so that one day when we're called to our maker, we don't go full of what we know, but we would have shared it with humanity. And that's what legacy will be about.
Yeah, exactly, madam. Looking at you, looking at your experience, looking at your career, the question we want to ask you is, what motivated you to go for entrepreneurship?
Thank you so much. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. My experience of being in corporate setting and seeing how businesses were consummated. I had customers who came and started an account with $100 who grew into millions. I had those who started with a lot and had zero, helping and being a coach and a servant leader to customers and seeing how their creativity brought them solutions to life. I knew that my life was not just about me, that I wanted to be a problem solver. And I wanted to solve the problem with my own experience. I didn't want to solve problems based on what one company wants it to be. I wanted to be different in a way that I can be creative, to fit in those who are not a status quo to what is expected. And the only way to do that is through entrepreneurship, is creating your own stories, the narratives of others, and finding ways to find solutions to the narratives of others and helping them to build better and forward, and helping them to start to pivot and to be those big names. Every business starts with an idea. It starts with one person talking to another person. When you look at all this Facebook, all this Microsoft and all these leaders, none of them started big. They started small with an idea, getting like-minded people together to be able to understand where you're going. So for me, entrepreneurship was that fun playing field where I could create possibilities. I could create possibility attitude, mindset. As a Forbes coach, I had to create possibility in mindset so people don't see their limitation. They see the possibilities. Those limitations can be overcome because you don't have to have all the answers when you start. You just have to want to get the answer and find ways to learn the answer and be ready to roll your sleeves, serving your way to greatness, doing strategic volunteerism so that as you're giving of yourself to others, you're also learning from them, and you're learning and you're adding it to your arsenal. So you're not selfish and just trying to build and step on others, but you're trying to share and paying it forward and sideways and backwards, and just ensuring that you're carrying people along. And all of that is what entrepreneurship allows you to do. And I wouldn't think of anything better. It's not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's clearly for those who have a purpose-driven life that they know is beyond what they want to achieve or what they want to gain. Is for the good of humanity.
Wow, exactly, madam. And we want to ask you now, what are the difficulties that you encounter daily now that you are an entrepreneur?
Sure. Entrepreneurship journey, if you build your structure right with that servant leadership, with that strategic volunteerism, with that giving heart, your daily challenges will come. They will be mitigated. For me, I'm not so technologically inclined like all of you. So some things that are very simple, I still have to struggle to figure it out. And through my leveraging, I call it reverse mentorship. I have mentees who are very good in technology. So with their help, I'm able to get those things that I don't have, and they share what they have with me. So, and also funding. Funding is never going to be enough for anyone. Building your systems, making sure that you're learning, you're training yourself, you're getting exposure, you're joining associations where you meet other people, where you can share what you have, learn what they have, they learn from you. All of those things are daily activities. And with now that the world is a global village, trust is a big factor. How do you build a brand that can be trusted? So all of those things are everyday thing. How do you deal with people who challenge you, who intimidate you for no reason, who probably don't even have half of what you have? But you got to be humble. You don't need to tell them where they belong. You just need to show them, continually showing them, adding value, and one day they'll get it. And as they're showing off their arrogance, you show your humility and you continue to learn like a sponge, and you begin to see that all those impediments will have solutions, because there will be other people who see the value of what you bring to them, and they will be willing to serve and add value and be that problem solver for what you have as a problem.
Yeah. Okay, madam. You are a doctor. We have been talking about perseverance, talking about adversity. And the question that I want to ask you is, can you share with us your worst experience in business? That is a day where everything went wrong.
Yes, thank you.
And how you succeeded, what you learned from it.
Yes, thank you so much. I have so many days, but one season that everything went wrong was in America during the mortgage meltdown. I had my own mortgage company. I had left the bank and started my own mortgage company. I really wanted to start my bank, and one day I planned to do that. But I started my own mortgage company. I did not realize that there was an economic meltdown. So I thought that being young, energetic, hardworking, that maybe business was just slow, but it was an economic meltdown. So I had to dig into my retirement funds to stabilize my company, whereas the economy had turned upside down, and I didn't realize that. So everything that could go wrong went wrong. But one thing that didn't go wrong, my mindset didn't go down with it. I knew that the Lord that did the first would do it again. But it took a lot of guts for me to continually serve and add value to everybody else while I was still trying to figure my own mishap. But I didn't let that stop me. But instead, I leveraged my ability to really, really ensure that I shared all the best demonstrated experiences that I can use for other people to not slow me down. So that will be an experience. And just knowing that just because you're going through a situation doesn't mean you stop being a blessing to others. So that was an experience that I would never forget in my life. And things turn around, and they turn around for good.
Thank you so much. We are going to take a short break, and we are coming back in a minute. Welcome back on Career Show. Don't forget to subscribe to our page and to activate the notification bell. You can use the subtitle in order to listen to the show in other languages. So we are still with Madam Dr. Remi Duyile, who is the former vice president of the Bank of America, a certified corporate trainer, a Forbes coach, and the founder of Legacy Premier Foundation. So, madam, you ask you a question. If you were given $2,000 now to start a business, what sector will you go for? And what are the 5 next things you would do?
If I were given, for me, because I'm very big on developmental related matters, if I were given $2,000, I know that in general, as a coach, what I would advise, the agrarian sector is a very vibrant sector now that people can get a lot with a little bit. So I would advise people who, let's say somebody has the 2,000, I would look at how can I have value addition to some agrarian products that would enable me to bring some of the things that we have in other parts of the world to the benefit of the developed nation. And I would start online to connect, to do my research and see what are those areas of needs that I can engage to identify such people. The other thing I would do with my $2,000 is, this will make you laugh, it would be to invest in a developmental program that would allow me to get certified, to be able to help more people as they also look to better themselves. Because I'm a coach, I'm always looking to better people. There's some knowledge that you need to garnish. There's knowledge that you need to garner to be able to ensure that you get the most for your little investment. 2,000 might not sound like a whole lot to some people, but it's a whole lot. It's a good starting point. It's a way to know, okay, what are the things that you can do? I will go to the agrarian and I will go to developmental related things that I know that I can get my money now from my investment.
Okay. So, Madam, what place do you give to business plan in the entrepreneurial process?
Business plan is very, very critical. Business plan is what allows you to see, number one, your vision on paper, the reason for your vision. What will it entail to actualize this vision? You can write anything on paper. A business plan allows you to create financial data to let you know, okay, what is going to be required to accomplish this goal that you desire? How will you accomplish it? Who will be your target audience? Who are you going to be selling to? Who are you going to be buying from? Who are your competition? So a business plan allows you to truly have a picture of what you desire. And that way you can think through it, because an idea might look good, but by the time you walk through a business plan, you are really digging deep, because that's what the banks are looking for. No financial institution will look at you without a business plan. That's what captures what they're looking for, to see, is this a viable business or not?
Okay. So, Madam, according to you, what are the secrets of a financial project?
Of a financial reporting?
Financial project. Because there are many youths
financeable
that
project
are probably going to listen to this video that have business plan, nice idea, nice solution to answer to problem that the continent is facing. Mm-hmm. But they have issues of finance. They're asking themselves, how are they going to do with the finance? Who will finance them? What are the tips? What are the steps to take to have the necessary fund for job business, for job project?
Sure. Thank you. And that's a very good question. And that's a question that's asked everywhere in the world. There's never enough funds for anything. And one thing I always say is that there's never shortage of funds in the world either. As long as you can create solutions to problems, you will create opportunity for funding. But one thing that's important is you have to have a process. You have to have a procedure to your expectation. You have to align your expectation correctly. You have to demonstrate past performance. If you don't have the past performance, you have to learn how to collaborate with others. That's where what we were saying earlier, that intentional strategic volunteerism comes to play. Nobody knows everything, but because we are people who are full of energy and we are full of ideas for problem solving, it doesn't mean we know everything, but we have to understand the importance of knowing what and why are we doing what we are doing. This idea that's beautiful on paper, it's beautiful to you, but you need to present it to someone else who maybe might not be coming from your own point of view, or may be not coming from your experience. So that's where it's important for you to develop, how can you build past performances? Past performances can be built through volunteerism, through aligning yourself to trade your talent to learn from someone else who can help you enhance and make your package, that can make your program well packaged and well received. Also, aligning with funding. What is your skin in the game? Yes, you want to provide solutions to the continent. You want to provide solutions to your village, your city, your town. But what skin do you have in the game? When I say what skin do you have in the game? Yes, you might say, well, youth don't have money. They don't have this. We don't have jobs. There are things you have that is valuable. You need to identify that and see how you can now monetize it, so that that monetization can show as a stream of income. For instance, your show right now didn't just happen overnight. There was an idea that you came up with and you started doing. If you went around looking for somebody that would give you money to start the show, I'm sure you probably will be still waiting till now.
Exactly.
But you've got to start where you are. As you start where you are, do it afraid. Continue to do your best in everything that you put out there, because the world is watching you. The world that you need is watching you from afar. So your own is to be consistent with information that you share, so people can identify with your brand. And you can say, oh, our youth, they don't have a brand, we don't have money. Money has nothing, your branding has nothing to do with your bank account. It has to do with, how do you present yourself? How do you project yourself? How are you feeding yourself with knowledge? Knowledge that somebody else can see and say, wow, I'll put my price tag on this one. Knowledge that you just take for granted. For instance, some people don't like to speak. You've taken it upon yourself to engage different people to share information that will be useful to other people. Somebody might find one of your shows and see that as a viable thing that they need to enhance what they need to do. Bingo, you've been building your brand. So I say to everyone, don't look at what you don't have. Look at what you have. Start with what you have in your hands and around you. And you cannot look at starting and thinking, I want to make all the millions tomorrow, the next day. Do what you're passionate about. So even when you're not getting paid for what you're doing, you still love what you're doing. So there's never going to be enough money in the world, but you've got to be able to understand that your skin has to be in the game. What do you know about financial literacy? Do you save money? Even if all you make is $1. Do you know that you don't spend all the $1? Maybe you keep 20, you keep at least 80 cents. So you start having a financial, a savings habit, a budget habit on your personal level. Because what you have is what you carry. And what you carry as a person is what is going to translate to your business, to your ideas. So find yourself grounded in a way that you budget. You have a budget in what you do individually. It starts with you. So once you have your budget, it becomes a habit. Through that budgeting, make sure there are savings line there. Save money. And once you save money, you have a little change. Then you go to family, you go to friends who believe in what you're doing. Once they put in their money in your game, it will start developing, getting bigger and better. Then all the other funders will look for you. Would you give money to somebody you don't know how the outcome of what they are going to do will be? Sometimes you won't, because all these people that you think have money, they use other people's money to make money. And they want to make sure, especially banks,
They want to make sure that there will be ability for them to return on investment on their investors who have put money in their banks. So they won't be emotional to just say, oh, I'll give Carl money because he's a young person who has a good idea. But what is Carl's skin in the game? As passionate as you are, what is your skin in the game? So for every viewer and listener, always know that you can count your gain, your cost in any game that you're playing. Nobody gives you anything based on emotions. It's on practicality. Yes, you have a good business plan. Have you thought about who your competitors are? Have you thought about your exit strategy? Have you thought about how you can have auxiliary opportunities that can create income? Sometimes people have a 9-to-5 job. They might have a side hustle. That's how you start to fuel your passion and build. So when you're doing all of this, you're saving too. You can say, I have a side hustle. When it's Friday, you go out and you spend all the money and you say, oh, I don't have money. But the little $1 you have, you spent it all. How can you have money? Savings is a habit. So until we understand the power of savings, that's where the power of finance will resonate. And the power of budgeting, that's just having a list of what you have, that's your assets. What do you owe? Your liabilities. What is left? And if nothing is left, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe that coffee that you buy from special eatery need to be made in the house. Maybe you need to just go to the grocery store and get your coffee and blend it yourself. Maybe you need to not eat out. Maybe you need to go to the market, cook and make your veggie and whatever you want to cook yourself to save money. So when those habits are developed, same pattern of habits is what you're going to carry. If some of your listeners hear this, there are habits we all have on a personal level that will prevent us from being able to save, to have a disciplined business mindset. And if we start with ourselves, when we now have all these ideas, people want to loan money, people want to support, but they want to see, is there a sustainability plan? Is there an exit strategy? Is there a succession plan? So you're not just building because of you as Remi, because nobody knows who is going next. What happens if one closes one's eyes and that's the end of it? They want to see businesses that can outlive us and to ensure that it's properly funded once that is done. Of course, I agree, it's hard to get funding. It's hard for people to just get money when they need it. After you have established yourself, everybody begs you to give you money. That's the name of the game. I always ask my people, will you give money to somebody if you have not asked some questions and feel comfortable with it? Maybe not. If a friend comes to you that's not so close, oh, they say, Carl, come give me this. Of course, you might have it. You're not just going to go and give it to them right away. Some other friends you might give to, but you might want to ask, what do they need it for? Because you've seen their habit. So that's the same thing. These people have to get to know you. So we've got to exercise patience. Patience is a virtue. And we've got to build small. Start small. Start within what you can manage. And then you can pivot. You can scale it up. And most importantly, serve others. That would unlock some opportunities that you didn't know, that won't even cost those who are unlocking it for you. So those are my 2 cents on that. I hope that helps the listeners.
Okay. Cool, madam. But apart from that, madam, there are many young Africans out there who really try to develop their ideas. But with this COVID-19, it was very complicated for them. And they are turning out to you with all your experience. And let us talk about perseverance. According to you, what are the factors they can rely on to be more perseverant, to be more resilient in their activities? We know that you have a book called Perseverance, The Winning Keys to your destiny. Can you share with us, Madam, the tools we, the young African, can rely on to be more perseverant?
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm a proud author of Perseverance, Winning Key to Your Destiny. And shout out to all my young African emerging leaders. You are doing it. Don't ever feel like you're not doing enough. You're enough just as you are. Just continue to build and continue to be together, cohesive. Building is definitely going to help. And I remember as a teenager migrating to the United States of America, I know how it's tough to integrate in the corporate America. I know how it's hard for people to believe in your abilities. I know how hard it is to deal with forced strikes where people just alienate you by what they see, whether you're young and all of that. But as young people, I want to give you one thing. One thing for sure is that ability to strategically volunteer yourself to greatness. When I say volunteer, it doesn't mean you're going to leave everything you're doing. It might mean that you will use an extra hour to reach out and help somebody, especially somebody who is doing what you like. They will remember that you've sown into them. Don't sow because you want to get back right away. You will eventually, but do as unto serving for the betterment of the community. And perseverance is the winning key, because you will have people who will give you the short end of the stick, people who would take advantage of you, people who won't see how smart you are. They will try to undermine you. I went through all of that. People who would say, oh, Remi, you have an accent. Oh, Remi, you dress too much for the building. Oh, Remi, you have this and that. None of that stopped me from rising from teller to vice president. And I use myself as an example because I'm talking to you. I didn't Google my ideas or my conversation. It's what I lived with. So what I want to tell my young people is the way to constantly stay ahead is to continue to add value to others. It doesn't matter how tough or how rough the road is. Don't be too anxious for nothing, because everything will fall in place. Develop thick skin, develop the ability to collaborate with like-minded people. Develop the habit of serving and adding value to people who you can assist. Sometimes you might think somebody has everything that you can assist, especially with young leaders now. You know the technology way more than the older generation. That's a value proposition you hold. And maybe the older generation have more experiences. I mean, of course, you can have more experience than somebody who is older because they've lived the experience. So you understanding that they come with value. You come with value. How do we meet and set the right expectation? Perseverance is transparency, is accountability, is communication. Carl, there's no way I can read your mind. If you don't ask me or talk to me, I can't read your mind. If you didn't invite me to your show, I might see your show all the time. I don't know how to say, oh, Carl, do you want me on your show? But when you decided that you needed me on your show, you knew how to come and ask. Exactly. And your wish was, before you asked, it was done. So we've got to be able to communicate and not assume. Sometimes we outthink our greatness. We outthink our greatness because we're thinking, because people have so many experiences they are sharing. Don't let anybody's experience, don't use it to judge your own standard. Use you. Build your own brand you. Don't say because, oh, Remi has a bad experience with this person, now I'm going to just alienate that person. No, you won't ever know the true stories, honestly. But find out for yourself and have a thick skin. Don't worry if people want to sideline you. Continue to invest in yourself. Investing in yourself could be little stuff. Find mentors if you can afford one. who will be like your accountability partner. Yes, you can be smart and Google it. It's not the same as when you have a live person who pours into you, who you can point to each other. You're helping them, they're helping you. You have a common agenda of success. But sometimes people think they can do it alone and all of that. The world that we're in with this global village, click of a button go, is more complicated now because people are trying to get a feel for who is Remi. Yeah, she sounds good. She sounds like she means well, but they would still want to know more than that. And they can't fly here to me in Maryland in the US and say, who are you, Remi? Number one, they might not have the finances. Number two, they might get to Maryland, they might never find me unless I have time to meet them. So there's so many things that looks easy, but that can be complicated when decisions are made. It's bigger than just that one conversation you have with one person. It's more than that. You build relationships. This virtual relationship building, my brother, is not as easy. People think, oh, boom. If people truly want to do business with you, it's not just going to take a quick one thing that they see and they say, oh, I love you. You're coming to be my business partner. It takes, sometimes they search you, they're looking at you, you don't even know they're looking. So all I say is be consistent and persevere. Even when people have done things wrong by you, don't hold it as a death sentence on them. Have a forgiving mindset to give people a chance, but then this time you do it very carefully. Okay. The world that we're in, guys, it's not as simple as it looks, but it's not as complicated either. If we can ask for what we believe we need in a respectful way, you can't take respect from this. You can't take humility from this. You can't take territory from this. People have territories. Somebody who is experienced wants to show their experience. So you've got to put value on people. When you can put value on yourself and others, you will align with the right people. And some of the examples of what you need will be coming alive.
Exactly. So, Madam, we don't have too much time, but I have a question, a serious question to ask you, Madam. Yeah, because we see a lot of young Africans today going for cryptocurrency. The majority, there are people calling themselves crypto entrepreneurs. But do you think that is it ideal? Because we are hearing stuff that there are people that were embezzled and those stuff because they went for cryptocurrency, or they ask you put $10 and you have $1,000 in 2 months and so stuff. There are many young Africans going for that sector. I don't know, but you being an expert, especially with finance, can you share with us what you think about it and if it is ideal for young Africans?
Again, I am not an expert in cryptocurrency, but I'm going to give an individual perspective as a mother, as a sister, as a friend, as a business person. It's a new thing that's here to stay. I would just say with every new thing, be cautious about it. Don't let the reward, the return on investment alone be your traction. Try to understand the details of it. Yes, of course, it sounds good. You put $10, you make 1,000. To me, anything that sounds too good to be true, for me, I want to dig deep and understand why, how. Just understand the process before you dive in. When you even think you understand the process, understand the people behind the process. What is their past performance, their level of commendation, integrity, and all of that. Get all of that knowledge before you dive in full force swimming. Then when you have done all of that, start with something little that if you lose, you won't want to go and strangle yourself about it. Just start with something little. So if it's lost, you don't have to lose your sleep about it. Be careful with any new thing. There are teething pains in life, in any business, in anything that's new, I would say get more knowledge in this, honestly, before you dig in. Don't take the easy way out and say, oh, I want to quickly make this $1,000 and I put 10,000. Also think of, what did God give us brains for? If now you can put the $10, it becomes 1,000. That means you need to find other things that you can truly use your brain to create that will provide solutions. Money is not the only solution we need in the world. There are other solutions. We need great mindset. We need ability for us to cohabit and work together as human beings. We need more love amongst ourselves all over the world. If you look everywhere, there's one unrest or the other. We need to work on those things and not let just money be a motivator only for us. And for cryptocurrency, again, get the knowledge that you need to feel good about educating others. Don't just think about what you can get. And when they show you what you can get now, then you are so ask questions and get more knowledge. And as you get more knowledge, if you have the conviction that it works for you, then work it, but diversify so that you always have a backup plan. Don't put your eggs in one basket is what I'm saying.
Oh, exactly, madam. So, madam, can you share with us the advice you can give to young and future entrepreneurs and African leaders listening to us?
Thank you. To my young leaders out there, much love always. As much as you think you're alone, you are not alone. I know it's a lonely road. It's a lonely road, but you're not alone. The world is with you. The world is watching you. The world will support you. And I say that from the depth of my heart, because I know that there's so many young people doing great things who are getting supported. And I don't want to say that every young youth out there, every young person out there gets support. Continue to build on your brand. Continue to see and build and harness your value as a human being, a value that will precede you, a value that will even get you to higher places. And I would say, continue to work hard. There's no shortcut to hard work. Hard work comes, you see that hard is not there for nothing. It comes with a process. Have an open mind. Have a transparent mind of working together. As young people, learn to work together better. Learn to have integrity. And when you have feedback for older generation or people who are not doing you right, be constructive with your feedback. Don't ever say, oh, that's the end of it. Never burn your bridges. You never know where you will meet. And learn to forgive. Learn to forget. But most importantly, have faith in God. The only human being, whoever your God is, the only one that will not fail you is your maker. Have a relationship with whoever that maker is. It could be Jesus, Allah, whoever, Voodoo, I don't know, whoever your maker is. Have a supreme being that's bigger than any man, so that when man fails you, you look up and then you have hope again. If it's man that is your maker and then you paint man like your God, when they fail you and you look at them, then you look down. But when it's God, you know, okay, there's somebody greater than everybody else. And when you look up, forward ever, backwards never. That would be my advice to all of you. And much success. And if I can help anyone with guidance, it's a passion for me to be a value addition to the emerging leaders. Carl, you know where to find me. If I can help with anything now or later, please be my guest.
Thank you so much, madam. But madam, we can't go without asking this question. Madam, you are a great leader. You are an African. You have the accent. You are female. And you were the vice president of the Bank of America. What advice can you give to these young ladies listening to us who are questioning themselves? Can I be a leader being a woman? I am Black, I'm from Africa. Can I be a successful leader in a big organization? What advice can you give to them, madam?
My first answer to them is yes, you can. You can be all of that. And the most important thing that I am is a proud mother of great young millennials who are doing great work. And I have been married for over 30 years. So not only am I a professionally successful individual by the grace of God, the home front is solid. So you truly, ladies, can have it all. Is it easy? Some days maybe not. Can it be done? Absolutely, because I'm doing it. So I believe that what we need to do is first know who you are. Who are you? And then know whose you are. WHOSE, whose you are. Once you know whose you are, you embrace yourself. The accent, the female, the Nigerian, the African, everywhere people have a stigma. That's your value proposition. Take pride in that, but show them the value that you can add to wherever you're invited. That's what would distinguish you. Nobody argues with results and value. And that's the only way you can showcase that. Continually build it yourself. I used to not like to speak at all. I had to go get people like Les Brown, Dale Carnegie training to find my voice, because that was the only thing that was holding me from sharing my voice. What are those areas that you need to engage yourself to be a better you? You know it. Don't be shy. Go find out how to be that better you. So being a woman has nothing to do with it. Being Black has nothing to do with it. Martin Luther King said, one day that his children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. What content do you have in your character that will make people know you stand out? They might not know immediately. They might give you a hard time. But if you're consistent and you know your space, they will be your friends. Today, those people who planned and had all these negative things, some of them are still my mentors still today. And they will say, they wonder, you were different, Remi. We didn't know. I said, well, I'm different because I was on a purpose. And now they know we celebrate one another. So never have a permanent enemy. Ignorance sometimes will make people behave somehow. And ignorance is not an insult. It just means that you need to educate somebody about who you are and be willing to do that proudly. And when you do that, we are supposed to enjoy this world, not to endure it. So to my ladies out there, you can have it all. Have integrity. Don't sell yourself short. Don't take any shortcut. Use your brain power. You've got it all. Your brain can make you be whoever God has created you to be. And at the end of it, have fun. Make this world a fun place and extend love and fun to others. And God will see us through.
Wow. Well, madam, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. What we learned today, like what we've written today, is for you entrepreneurs listening to us, discipline, start from where you are, save, perseverance, the winning key to your destiny, be resilient, or remember the world is looking at you.
Thank you so much for having me. And you all are doing a great job. Our young leaders out there, never ever think you're not. You're doing a great job, and continue to thrive and to align yourself with positive environments. Thank you, Carl. And thanks for Career Show. I mean, this is very impactful. God bless you.